Dare we try this again? Wibble wobble setup. Here we go. Hi guys, this is Connie, back for some more Connie Reads The Dogs of Winter. We are on chapter 36, titled Intruders. The next time we returned to the House of Bones, Smoke would not cross the stream. And if Smoke would not go, neither would Little Mother. She watched miserably as I stormed across the creek with her puppies splashing close behind. We scampered up the grassy knoll. At the top of the rise, Lucky and Rip sniffed the air. Rip whined uncertainly. Lucky shifted nervously next to me. "Come on," I said, and trotted along the faint trail our feet had worn. The puppies galloped ahead into the grove of silver trees. I heard a bark, a yelp, and then a scream of terror. "The puppies!" I ran for the trees. This was the sight that greeted me. The House of Bones swarmed with dogs. One of the dogs had Boy Puppy pinned to the ground with its teeth clamped around his throat. The other two dogs towered over cowering Girl Puppy. A fourth dog, the largest by far and black as night, stood atop the House of Bones. Its eyes narrowed with hate, its lips pulled back in a vicious snarl. It crouched, preparing to scream. That was not the one. Preparing to spring. Somebody needs to learn how to read. That'd be me. "No!" I screamed. I ran toward the dog, holding Boy Puppy by the throat, my club held high. The dog lifted his muzzle from the puppy's throat. His muzzle was smeared with blood. The dog snarled and lunged. Lucky knocked me to the side and fell onto the attacking dog in a fury. Rip raced to Girl Puppy, barking like a much bigger dog than he really was. The dogs were not fooled. They set upon Rip. I leapt to my feet and grabbed my club. A cry that was neither boy nor dog tore from my throat. I threw myself upon the two dogs, ravaging Rip. I brought my club down as hard as I could. I felt it crack against the skull of one of the attackers. The dog yelped and retreated. The other dog leapt for my arm. I swung the club like a baseball bat and crack, the dog fell to the ground in a heap. Lucky stood over Boy Puppy and snapped at the dog who had the puppy by the throat. I realized for the first time that the wild dog was bigger than Lucky. Blood trickled from Lucky's ear. "Leave him alone!" I shouted, swinging my club. Another high-pitched scream. My heart slid to my stomach at what I saw. The big black dog, the one that had crouched atop the House of Bones, now held Girl Puppy by the scruff of her neck. Black Dog shook Girl Puppy hard. The puppy screamed in terror. Black Dog's eyes dared us to move, to breathe. And then it was as if a fury was released from the forest. Something, a brown blur, roared into the silver trees and hurled itself upon Black Dog. The two tumbled backward in a black and brown snarling, gnashing twist of bone and blood and fur. I screamed and swung my club high. Black Dog leapt aside to dodge my club. The other dog, the one who had set upon Black Dog like a hellhound, whose eyes were of a crazed demon, was Little Mother. She positioned herself over Girl Puppy's body. I had never seen such hate, such rage in her face. Something snarled behind me. Teeth sank into my leg. I whirled just in time to see Smoke knock the wild dog at my leg to the ground. First he savaged that dog, then he attacked Black Dog. Black Dog twisted away and retreated to the edge of the woods. He barked once. The other three in the pack followed. As quickly as it had happened, the fight was over. My legs quivered and then gave way altogether. I sank to the dirt. I surveyed the battleground. Little Mother had her puppies next to her. She explored them with worried grunts and sighs. Lucky sniffed Rip, who was pulling himself up off the ground. I crawled over to Rip and gathered him in my arms. He growled at the eyes still watching us from the forest. "You are so brave," I said to the little mouse-colored dog. Why had I ever noticed how small he was? Come on, get pages. Twin growls grumbled from the chest of Smoke and Lucky. Black Dog stepped into the light. I stood as tall as I could and held Rip to my chest. Little Mother snarled. The puppies, grown brave now, growled from behind her. Black Dog stalked over to the House of Bones. He He tossed us a look of utter contempt. Then he raised his leg on the bones and urinated, all the while staring directly into Smoke's eyes. One by one, the other wild dogs did the same. The message was clear. This was their kill, their territory. We were intruders. We made our way back to our meadow. I checked the dogs over for wounds. Despite the blood and the screams, none of us were too worse for wear. The puppies each had torn ears. Lucky had a shallow slash on his shoulder, although I could find no wound. Rimp limped for the rest of the summer. We washed ourselves in the stream. I watched as Lucky and Smoke methodically marked the trees at the far side of our meadow with their urine. This was our territory. That night, in our den beneath the great evergreen tree, we licked the cuts and bruises and fear from one another. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one in half. I'll see you in a few minutes for part 2. Be careful with that and enjoy, please and thank you.